Hello everyone, I'm DragonClaws Gaming, and today we'll be covering highlights and my personal opinions on what we heard in Minecraft Live 2021. So, I've only included the things that either affected me or I personally found interesting. So, all content from games like Minecraft Dungeons I have excluded, and some of the smaller things have also been dropped. If you want to know everything, watch Minecraft Live itself. So, I will be tackling this list in chronological order. Some things, however, like the mob vote, were covered up multiple times throughout the presentation, but I'm going to be doing them in an assorted order, so it might not be completely correct, but do bear with me. Next, we have seed parity. Seed parity is the idea that you can take a number, a Minecraft seed, and load it into a world, and you will get the exact same world on both Minecraft Bedrock and Minecraft Java. I personally love this idea because as a Minecraft Bedrock player, I do often struggle in finding good seeds for Bedrock Edition, as most hardcore players do play on Java. So I do think it will be very nice to be able to get more consistent and useful seeds for Bedrock Edition. At this point in Minecraft Live, we got to something that I was very excited for. 1.19. Yes, that's right, it's here. And it's the wild update. The wild update will show both the wild and elegant parts of Minecraft, and also it will reveal some of the more sinister and uncontrollable ones. They gave some examples later in this, and I'm very excited and think 1.19 has a lot in store. The first thing that they gave us for 1.19 is an expansion to the Deep Dark. We have Deep Dark cities. Yeah, so now there's underground villages. They look extremely cool with a dark, abandoned theme. Apparently, it's meant to symbolize an ancient civilization that you don't know much about. I do think this will be very cool, and I love the aesthetic. I think that the underground is lacking a sense of life, and these deep dark cities will add it. The next thing that will be added to the deep dark is the Scope Catalyst. The Scope Catalyst is essentially a generator for all Scope blocks. It will generate Scope blocks when enemies nearby are killed. Then it will generate them depending on how much XP that enemy would have dropped. I think this is interesting, but I personally don't get it. I think the Deep Dark is nice, but I'm not quite sure how this would work. However, I do think this would be a cool mechanic and will be very fun to play around with once it drops. And for the highlight of the entire Deep Dark Caverns, we have more Warden news. The Warden will not only be able to try to hear you using its superior hearing, but it will also try to smell you. So, you're not even safe, not when you're standing still. I think this is an amazing addition because now the Warden won't be able to be avoided as easily. However, that does make me question if they're going to be adding a reward for if the Warden's killed. If the Warden can find you, you should be able to defeat it, and I think you should be rewarded after that victory. Moving above the surface of the wild update, we have an update to one of the more plain regions. Yes, we do have a swamp update now. The swamp was originally more of a barren wasteland with a bit of water. I don't think it was bad per se, but I do agree that it was lacking something. And that something will be added. It definitely has more of a atmosphere, at least in the new concept art that was shown. I'm not sure exactly what they're going to do, but I am very excited. And they did list a few of the changes that they are going to make. One of them is a boat with a chest. At first thought, you might be thinking that rivers are kind of small and it wouldn't be useful. But Caves and Cliffs, or the Wild Update, will be expanding these rivers, making the boats an even more valid way of travel. And a boat with chest could be very useful, especially in large underground caves filled with water. As suggested by Lady Agnes, you could use the boat to store your diamonds in those kind of situations. But back to the swamp. The swamp's normal trees are just a plain oak tree with some vines. But now the swamp has its very own kind of trees. Introducing the mangrove trees. The mangrove trees will be a new kind of tree that acts in a bit of a different way. Instead of a sapling that you plant on land and then watch it grow on land, you will now get to plant these saplings underwater or on land if you'd like, but also underwater. I find this super cool. Also, they will grow out of swamps and have large root blocks. There's also a new kind of wood, which, in my opinion, I don't think it's that cool. It is cool, but it looks a bit like a cross between jungle wood and acacia wood, which is always useful, but not my personal kind of aesthetic. To add to the new aesthetic of this swamp biome, there is a new kind of dirt, or specifically, a new kind of mud. Renewable mud. Renewable mud is just like dirt. You can also create it by splashing water on it, but it will be generated in a swamp biome. Renewable mud acts just like dirt, but also you can put it over a dripstone and the water will drip away, leaving you with clay. This is an extremely useful feature which would help you with villager trading and also will make clay much more accessible and farmable. But that's not the only use for renewable mud. You can also craft a new kind of bricks, mud bricks. Well, this has me really hyped because these bricks look great. I think they'll fit with so many different block palettes. I think they can match into many aesthetics, and even just the aesthetic as a whole, it's amazing. I do think this will be my favorite block when the wild update comes out, and I really can't wait. The swamp now has a new kind of dirt and a new kind of trees. But it's missing something. A new mob. And that's where the frog comes in. The frog is this little mob that will add so much more life to the swamp. They're very cute, but also a bit silly and foolish. They really do add some character to the swamp, and I'm so excited. And there's 3 varieties. The tropical frog, the snowy frog, and the swamp frog. Their variety will be determined by where they grow up. They will start as tadpoles, which you can catch in buckets, and then move to a different biome. Depending on the temperature of the water, they will then evolve into one of those 3 varieties. And the final thing that they revealed for the wild update is fireflies. These will be another mob that will spawn in the swamp. They look a bit small, like dots, and personally, I'm not a huge fan. They remind me of mosquitoes. They will also function as frog food, which I do think is a good addition. I do think they add the atmosphere effect that they were going for, and they do look nice in the night, but I just really don't think the overall texture looks great, and they just don't look elegant enough for what they're supposed to be. And finally, the thing that you've all been waiting for. The highlight of the entire Minecraft Live 2021. The thing that has been brewing for a week, maybe even longer. The mob vote. We have 3 mobs that I thought were all okay, but certainly one was the best. My least favorite was the glare. It looked a bit like a shrub, and it made noises and looked grumpy if the light levels were low enough for monsters to spawn. I suppose there might be a use, but personally, I don't really get what you'd actually use it for. It was eliminated in the first round, so I see that the public shares an opinion with me. Then my second favorite was the copper golem. A golem that you'd build similar to an iron golem, and it would randomly press copper buttons, which would also be added. I think it's okay, but also redstone randomizers can be built, and they aren't even that hard to build, so I don't think that it truly had a purpose. The one I voted for is CLA. I think it's the most useful by far, and it's also very cute. It's a little blue bird, and it will collect items off the ground for you. So, the glare was eliminated in the first round, leaving the copper golem and the allay left. After one final round of voting, the one that came out on top was the allay. I'm so happy with this, and I do think that the allay serves its purpose. Also, we've had a few questionable mob votes in the previous years. Phantom, Glow Squid. So I'm pretty happy that the one that deserved to win did win this year. So, the allay will be added into Minecraft, but it will be added in 1.19, which will release sometime next year. We don't have a date yet, but when it does, I will be there. But for now, that's it. Please subscribe to DragonClaws Gaming, and see you next time. Bye!